Is Mike Pence and Tim Kaine their first and only chance to face off on the issues? While the pair are looking to get more name recognition, their running mates have some of the lowest likability ratings in history. Fox News polls showing less than half of U.S. voters have favorable opinions of both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. So can the VP nominees do anything to change that? Here to weigh in, Vice President of Communications for the Democratic Group, Emily's List, Marcy Stetch, and editor of Red Alert Politics, Ron Meyer. Hey, Ron, and Marcy earlier were saying all this WikiLeaks thing could be a big issue tonight. That could be something that they're going to bring up on the stage. Well, we just got the update from Julian Assange that, nothing to see here. I just wanted you all to tune in for a few minutes. So probably no big announcement, Ron, for there to be a bombshell tonight to talk about.
Yeah, well, certainly it doesn't look that way. Now, we don't know. Julian Assange seemed extremely nervous during that entire thing, and then we heard rumors about, a possible assassination attempt on him. It's just really bizarre, this whole thing surrounding WikiLeaks. But it probably won't come up tonight is the short answer. And Mike Pence does, I think, have his plate full because he both has to present a positive message, which sort of, I think, is in contrast to what Trump did. Trump was a little bit more pessimistic and a little bit more sort of wide-ranging. I think Pence has to be both specific and aspirational while still actually going after the negatives better than Trump did. He has to, I think, get into potentially this email scandal, get into the foundation scandal, and the myriad of scandals that have beleaguered the Clintons for the last 30 years. And so he has a ton on his plate, and the question is he up to the challenge? And Republicans have to hope that he is.
The Republicans, Marcy, have been slamming Hillary Clinton's record on foreign policy, her tenure during the Obama administration. Donald Trump slamming her repeatedly, saying, what have you accomplished? You've made the world less safe during your tenure. Will we see some of that from Mike Pence tonight? And how will Tim Kaine respond to her record?
Sure. Well, I think we're going to see a very strong contrast between both of these candidates. Look, Mike Pence has two jobs tonight. He has one job, which is to prove that Donald Trump is actually fit to be president. Traditionally, in these vice presidential debates, we see an opportunity to see who could step into the job should there need to be that opportunity in that situation. But the reality is that Mike Pence is going to have to answer for what Donald Trump has done over the course of the past week. Everything from calling women fat to the tax return bombshell that shows that he hasn't paid a single dime and likely hasn't paid a single dime for 18 years. Does Mike Pence believe, and does the Donald Trump administration believe that we should still continue to protect the billionaires at the expense of the middle class? What is Mike Pence going to say about Donald Trump's comments yesterday that veterans who suffer from PTSD are weak? I mean, these are serious issues, and these are serious comments that Mike Pence is going to have to answer for.
Ron, what do you think about that? I'm sure we're going to hear that tonight, the comments from Donald Trump, and however they were construed, whether the media spun them, whether the Clinton camp was spinning them, or whether he legitimately said something negative about veterans and who suffer from PTSD. How do you think he'll respond to that tonight?
Well, in a lot of the ways that he has to the other sort of communications errors that he's made is that, he speaks off the cuff, he speaks on the fly, sometimes mistakes are made. And, the important thing, I think, when it comes to Hillary is that we've had her affect national security. He has a lot of personal problems and personal gaffes about issues that are sort of related to him. But this is really about who's going to run the country and who's going to run the policies of the country. And Hillary's record has to do with national security and jeopardizing national security, both in the policies she pursued overseas and then in her personal conduct with her emails and the separate server and sending classified information over a private server. And so it's kind of an interesting, I think that's how they have to pivot, is make it more about the policy and not about Donald Trump personally. And that's the chance Mike Pence has to, I think that's how he has to pivot tonight, is make this about policy, make a positive effect tonight by putting out the positive messaging that he has while contrasting it to what she has done in office. And in office, not in her personal life, but in office, representing the United States, she has done things that have been borderline illegal. She's lied under oath. We have the proof of these things. And that's the contrast he has to make tonight.
All right, Marcy and Ron, thanks for waking up early with us. We'll be watching tonight. Thanks.